Hello everyone. Today we're going to be briefly discussing response to intervention, exploring what it is and how it can be implemented in the classroom. To start off, let's look at a general definition. Response to intervention is best described as a multi-tiered approach to address the behavior and learning needs of students. It is often displayed in a pyramid format, with Tier 1 intervention meeting the needs of 80 to 85% of students. If Tier 1 needs are not effective for the participating student, Tier 2 and 3 interventions are tried and applied. A practical application to use for intervention is a class pass, or an escape break. This is a brief work break that students can use, and it is a teacher-approved activity outside of instruction. It is teacher-directed, meaning that the teacher decides everything that the break entails, including the number of passes a student can use, the length of the break, and a reward program if students do not use all their passes by the end. It is important for the teacher to also help the students identify when to use the class pass. For example, if they are frustrated or bored, and they should also switch up the activities every so often so that students can go on break throughout the year. If the effectiveness of the class pass starts to die off throughout the year, the teacher can use their discretion, removing the program if necessary. Another application of RTI in the classroom would be teaching students to monitor their own behavior. This would encourage students to be more active in their intervention process and to take responsibility for their self-reflection and measurement. Self-monitoring is often best implemented with a set schedule, rewards for students who show positive improvement, a checklist or measurement tool, and frequent accuracy checks to make sure students are being honest in their reports. Wise feedback is another form of intervention that can be applied in the classroom, and it's also a form of constructive criticism for your students. You can encourage them and empower them through the assignments that you give. One example of feedback would be explaining to your students that you aren't going to be mean to them, but that you want them to learn from their mistakes and to develop a growth mindset in the future. If students need to revisit their work, explain the steps that they must take to improve it. Students will likely question the purpose of their assignment, so rather than just handing it to them and telling them to complete it, explain what they should expect to gain from their work. Remind them that the good work that they have done in the past will eventually pay off in the future. You can also encourage them with yet statements, saying, "You don't know how to do this yet, but you will." Another application is School Home Note. School Home Note is when the teacher sends home a daily note rating the student's behaviors. Based on the teacher report, the parent then provides or withholds home rewards. In order to begin using it, the parents and teacher must work together to select target behaviors, coming up with a rating system, and then deciding what rewards the student can receive. School Home Note is a great application because it strengthens communication between the teacher and parents, as well as including the parents in the intervention. Flashcard review with constant time delay is when a teacher prompts students to identify the item on the flashcard. Then, if the student is unable to respond correctly within a fixed span of time, the teacher always provides the correct answer. Depending on the content, educators should be able to fluctuate how they present the flashcards. Flashcards can be used for letter and number identification, sight words, math facts, spelling words, and vocabulary terms and definitions. Flashcard review with constant time delay is great for providing feedback as well as praising for correct responses. Our final example of RTI is repeated reading. Repeated reading is a process by which teachers help struggling students to read. The process begins with the teacher selecting a text for a student to read, and usually students will read a passage that is 50 to 200 words long. The teacher places them in a quiet environment. As the student is reading aloud, the teacher will listen for reading errors and provide help if necessary. Usually a teacher will read a word to the student and have the student repeat it if the student misreads the word or hesitates for more than 5 seconds. Teachers will also provide the pronunciation or definition of the word per the student's request. A student will reread the passage and the process will repeat until the student is reading the passage fluently. The goal of repeated reading is that oral reading fluency and reading comprehension would increase. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about RTI and its applications in the classroom.